family, which I have to agree, that seems a little bit like you're reaching. Years passed, and eventually decades. Things seemingly came to a standstill until 2019, when, on the anniversary of Margaret's disappearance, the FBI decided to release the audio recording of a ransom call. Many people thought it bizarre that investigators didn't release the call when the case was still fresh, but according to them, it wasn't possible without modern technology used to enhance the audio.
$10,000 might be a lot of bread, but your daughter's life is the butter topping.
Who is it?
Margaret's disappearance was incredibly hard on her family. Her father, David, said the early mornings and the late nights were the hardest because that's when it was the quietest. Sadly, both he and his wife, Mary, passed away after years of anguish, helplessness, and sadness without ever knowing what happened to Margaret. To date, there's been no trace of Margaret Fox. Most think she was murdered. The FBI is currently offering a reward of $25,000 for the information leading to an arrest in the disappearance of Margaret Ellen Fox. It's difficult to say if this is too little, too late at this point, or if the recording even matters at all. Remember, it's unclear if this was nothing more than a hoax, but regardless, the FBI has placed enough stock in the call to make it public and offer a reward to anyone that may be able to provide information. The release was accompanied by an age progression photo to approximate what Margaret would look like today, which I'll post on social media and our webpage. Margaret's date of birth is February 4th, 1960. At the time of her disappearance, she had brown hair, blue eyes with freckles, and stood 5'2", weighing 105 pounds. Two of Margaret's front right teeth on the top were missing. She wore glasses. She was last seen wearing jeans with a yellow patch on the knee and a blue or flowered blouse. I'm not sure which it is because there are reports of both. A white and black checkered jacket and brown sandals. She was wearing a gold necklace with flowers and a blue stone, and a gold charm bracelet with a blue stone. Margaret was carrying an eyeglass case with a huckleberry hound design on it. If you think you have any information that would help solve this case, please contact your local FBI office, the nearest American embassy, consulate, or call the Burlington City Police at 609-386-3300. So when I started reading about Margaret, the first thing I thought was, why did her parents give her permission to go to someone's house that they didn't know and ride a bus? I would have never, even back then, if I was a mom, I would never have allowed that. The other thing was, when they realized that she wasn't home when she was supposed to be, why didn't they call the police before they made their calls and started doing their, boots on the ground search in Mount Holly? If they'd called the police first, they would have been able to get, officers out there a lot sooner. I guess there's a lot of shoulda, coulda, wouldas in every circumstance. And they sure don't have a lot to go on because there's a lot of, maybe or could have or sounded like circumstances. I mean, when they say that he sounded like he was between 35 and 45, it doesn't necessarily mean he was between 35 and 45. A lot of people have very young voices. And the other thing is, it makes me wonder if this was random, or did this father, Margaret's dad, have a high-paying job, and that's why they did the ransom call. It just, there's so many questions that are probably never going to be answered. And especially on that group, I know it was kind of like a reach, but the SLA asking, for ransom money when they kidnapped Patty Hearst. They also, they did some really bad things. That she's from a rich family. I don't know if Margaret was from a rich family. That's, it kind of leaves it up in the air. So you don't really know. I mean, it sounds coincidental. It might not be coincidental. There just seems like there's so many different paths that this could take. And nobody really knows, or probably never will. Unless somebody out there that's, reading. And I know there's a lot of podcasts and a lot of YouTube videos on Margaret. I just really, really wish there was somebody out there that knew something that would actually speak up. Like the retired officer that launched the investigation on his own time. I read an article and it allegedly said that, it said that Margaret's dental records allegedly went missing, and the agencies involved in that initial investigation, including the state and federal prosecutors, didn't share that information with anyone. Now, I don't know how true that is, since it was never confirmed, but, I mean, it doesn't sound like they have a lot to go on. Plus, the authorities had no DNA and very, very little physical evidence. And back in 1974, they didn't have the tools at their disposal like surveillance video and internet and social media like we do. Surveillance cameras were uncommon until the mid-70s, and basically they were only used in high crime areas to monitor the roads. Nowadays, they're basically on every corner, which is a good thing. So once again, if you think you have any information that would help solve this case, please contact your local FBI office or the nearest American embassy or consulate, or call the Burlington City Police at 609-386-3300.